This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. And here we are, January the 14th, 2022. And we're going into another lockdown here, not liking that, but you know what? Doesn't stop me from doing this, having a nice conversation with a wonderful guest. He is into music. He's got into filmmaking. He's got fan film ready to go, and he's just all around great guy. I give you Anthony.
Anthony Caimano.
I got stuck on that. I don't know how many times that's happened. I'm sorry, man. Anthony Caimano. It's funny because I know that you got a background in music and whatnot, and you love music, but how did it come for you to advance to film and writing and whatnot? Like what started the stretch from music to filmmaking?
So a couple years back, I released an EP on the internet, on iTunes and Spotify, and somebody actually found some of my music on Facebook and contacted me about using my songs in a couple of his projects, in a couple of his films, and that's kind of what led me into this world of independent filmmaking, and that's kind of how I got my start. So one of the films is The Bleeding Dark, which hasn't been released yet, still in post-production. And the other is Cross Hollow, and that's in post-production too. So I have a song in each of those films. And then, I just branched out and started networking and talking to different people. And here I am.
Do you do music, or just do you sing as well, or just music?
I sing. Yeah, no, I sing. I produce everything myself.
Okay.
So I write everything, sequence everything, mix, master everything. It's all
any type of instruments you like to play? Any favorites?
Sure, I play the guitar, the bass. I write the keyboard, synthesizers, drums. So pretty much anything I can get my hands on. I do a lot of digital stuff too. Mm-hmm. So I'll have sounds, I'll have digital violins and things like that in the song sometimes, but yeah, I actually play the guitar and bass, and I can write piano stuff and drums. And sure.
Do you have any musical influences?
Yeah, a whole bunch. I work on a lot of different genres too. So I work on rock, metal, like EDM, like electronic based music, rap stuff. So it's kind of all over. But
you have a vast canvas of array of tastes.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I know that you have a fan film coming up, but we come to connect because you have listened to my interview with Lydia Manson, the lovely Lydia Manson, and of course she also did Doubtfire Face Challenge, which I know you said that you enjoyed as well. We all did. She's pretty awesome, and you're in good company there. But I really appreciated you reaching out to me. I always look for the story, and I looked you up and noticed that there's some projects I was familiar with in the indie horror world that you're part of. And yes, I'm quite honored that you reached out to me. So thought enough of my show to ask, and I'm happy to have you on here. But I know you got a passion project that you want to talk about, and you better mention it, because I'm going to screw up the name of this. It's this Batman Joker fan film.
Sure, it's a Batman the Killing Joke.
Now, do you have a?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I know that you have mentioned you. Yeah, there you go. That is great. Yeah, people watching the video part will love that.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the Batman fans will recognize the cover. There's an animated version of this that they have on Netflix that a lot of people have seen. It's a little bit different from this version, but still, you know, I know a lot of people would recognize the cover if they saw it. So
You did you always love superhero movies growing up? Like any particular favorites, or is it Batman?
I love the Batman films, the Tim Burton Batman films, even the, you know, the Adam West originals. But yeah, I loved all of it. The animated shows, X-Men and Spider-Man. Uh, Lou Ferrigno is the Hulk. Loved that. Yeah, I was always into superhero films. Comic books was huge for me. The animated shows. So yep, I was always into it.
You know, let's go back to the Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
You know, come out in 1966, and you know, it looked like a really bad costume party. It looked like people wearing pajamas, and people could say, "Yeah, well, it's the '60s." Well, James Bond movies were being made with Sean Connery in the '60s, and they didn't look cheap and fake. But this Adam West Batman movie looked like a kid's pajama party with adults. And
Right,
there's
right.
one scene in it that just made me palm slap myself when you got them being targeted by an underwater missile or whatever, and then just as it's zooming up on them, it cuts, and then it's, you know, to the next scene as Batman going, "It's a good thing that whale there was there to give its life for us." And I'm like, are you kidding me? What was wrong with the writer that day that that's what he come up with?
Right, right. Thank God for the
That was
whale.
so lame. That was so lame. I mean, I know that movie gets a lot of good reviews, but I'm like, that one scene sank it for me.
Yeah, we'll probably leave the whale out of this film.
Yeah, but in terms of the other ones, the Tim Burton ones with Michael Keaton were really good.
Right.
I do have a love for Batman Forever.
Mhm.
I know it's a lighter tone, the Joel Schumacher ones, but Batman Forever at least gave us some background to Batman and Robin. You know, I have an appreciation for that. Batman and Robin, not so much. You know, the bat
Yeah,
nipples costume. I thought
they're
Batman and Robin was absolute shit in so many ways, and was up for Razzies that year with Alicia Silverstone taking home Worst Supporting Actress, wearing a costume that was way too small for her to be wearing.
yeah. A lot of people are not the biggest fans of that film. You know, I know George Clooney isn't a big fan of that film.
Yeah, he's probably about as big a fan of that film as Halle Berry is Catwoman.
Right, right. Yeah.
but Christopher Nolan has made some terrific Batman movies. I think Batman Begins, I think, was the best Batman movie. I liked Liam Neeson in it. You know, I like that film a lot. The Dark Knight is a lot of people's favorite. I think Heath Ledger was phenomenal as the Joker, but I always had an issue with the kind of the double ending of it with Two Face. Like, my thought, if I was in a studio doing these movies, I'd be like, if Batman's got like 10 villains,
Right.
I'm like, there's 10 films because each one of these villains has a backstory. If you
Sure.
get a
Yeah.
good enough writer, you can keep people coming back. So why cram two or three villains into one film? If you
Right.
got good enough writers, you could create something. So, and I liked Two Face. I liked Two Face in The Dark Knight. I just didn't care for this tacked on ending on this, and it kind of left the Joker just kind of hanging there, like it was very much a cliffhanger, no pun intended.
Right.
But I was not. I was a little dissatisfied with that, and unfortunately, Heath Ledger is unfortunately gone way too soon, and we didn't get to complete that. So I like The Dark Knight, but that has always kind of bothered me with that film. And then Dark Knight Rises, I really enjoyed Tom Hardy as Bane, considering the fact Bane was pretty much useless in Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
Big upgrade there.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with Bane in that in Batman and Robin.
And then with the Joker movie, I love
Mhm.
the fact that it had more in common with Taxi Driver with its social commentary than it did with the Batman franchise. And I thought that was pretty. Again, that's another one. I think the ending, the little snippet at the end with him in the institution, I would not have had that. I would have had it end with the big crowd scene there at the end where they're like celebrating him. I would have had it cut to black from that. You know. You
Yeah,
have any comments on anything I said there?
yeah, I think I agree with what you said about the Joker film. I definitely would have cut that off right at the end with the crowd and they're sort of cheering him on and he's up and I think that would have been a good place to end that. I love the Christopher Nolan films. I thought Bale was great in Batman Begins and in The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Ending with the Joker, I think, was a little bit actually again inspired by the Killing Joke for The Dark Knight. So they left the ending a little bit open to interpretation because we don't really know what happened to the Joker. We don't know if he fell or if maybe one of his buddies came and let him down or something. You know, we really don't know. So I think the ending was kind of inspired by The Killing Joke. So if, you know, for those people that are out there that are more familiar with this story, they might know what I'm talking about. I don't want to give too much away, but you know, for anyone that hasn't read the story or hasn't seen the animation or you know, whatever. But yeah, I can see why you know, it didn't quite suit everyone's taste.
Well, you would know more about Batman: The Killing Joke than I would. I'm not schooled on that, but so you might have a point there. I do like The Dark Knight. I just had that little bit of snippet problem though, but a lot of people hail it as the best one, and I can't really fault them on that. They, you know, it's got a lot of great things in it, but
Yeah,
with your film, it's inspired by that.
right.
You have I know you're going to launch the crowdfunder in, I think, what, March 1st?
Yep, yep.
Okay. Huh?
That's on Indiegogo.
Indiegogo. Okay. So do you have actors or whatnot in mind for playing Batman and the Joker?
Yep, I'll be playing the Joker
Okay.
and get a few different people for Batman. I haven't made a decision yet. I have to be very picky because I have to make sure that the person's able to fit and have, you know, the right sort of chemistry with the rest of the cast that I have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I out to a handful of people for the other main roles, but I'll have a lot of supporting roles and extra roles available if anyone out there wants to contact me about those.
Well, you know, what are you going to bring to the Joker? Because I know you get some heavy competition with Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix. What are you going to bring to it?
Well, the first thing is that I don't want people to expect any of those people or any of those performances from me. I'm not Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix or Mark Hamill, so I can't bring what they brought to the role. But what I can bring is my own personality and my own sense of humor and my own take on the character. So I think it's just about bringing myself to like level 10 or level or an 11, and just taking it up that one extra notch. And that's pretty much all it is. I'm not going too far out of my way to do an impression of Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix or anything of that sort. So it definitely wouldn't be the same.
Do you have an idea of how you're going to spin this?
As far as
what you're going to bring to portray it?
Yeah. I've played around with the character for a couple of years now.
Okay.
Joker. So I've had like a lot of different makeup designs. I've gone through like a lot of different actual makeup. I think I've gone through every green hair dye possible, like every brand of green hair dye. I've gone through different button-up shirts that look very similar, but they're just slightly different. The ones maybe flat green, and then the next one's like a slightly different shade of green. And I've really gone through it. I've gone through trying skinny jeans, switch it up and see what it would look like. Thin tie, thicker ties, no tie. I had a black suit at one point. That was like early on. I've tried it with black hair, green hair, short hair, long hair. So, yeah, I really spent time with it. The one thing that is going to be a lot different I think is maybe the laugh. Things, mannerisms are a lot different. I don't have the same exact mannerisms that you would have seen from Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix, or Jack Nicholson. Also, I don't know about the prosthetics. He used those with Nicholson and Ledger on the face, so I wouldn't have that going for me. But as far as the speech and the way I talk and the movements and everything, I sort of like go into that mode where I start kind of doing different things with my mouth, or my walk is a little bit different than it would normally be. And I've kind of done a thing for it over time. So I don't know how to just, it's kind of my own kind of spin on the character. I'm not doing an impression of any of the other actors. So
one of the things I loved in Joker is they really went into why he had the laugh. I thought that was very interesting. Is there anything like that you're going to bring into this?
No, I did like it for the Joker. I thought that was pretty cool. It fit the story, but take on it, I don't really feel the need to go back and explain why laughs or why they do some of the things that they do. For me, I think the Joker laughs for the same reason why the rest of us laugh, and it's just, he finds humor in something, and that's how he expresses himself. And so it's just more of a natural thing, I think.
Or maybe you watched the 1966 Batman and saw the whale self-sacrifice.
Yep. He started.
Or maybe you watch Batman and Robin. That's enough to make somebody laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we got Robert Pattinson is set to play what I think they said the 7th guy to play the live action Batman, because Robert Pattinson, was known for Twilight. People have got to give this guy a break, because he's done some great stuff for David Cronenberg. He was in The Lighthouse. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy as Batman. Do you have a favorite version of Batman in terms of the actors that played him?
I think overall my favorite is Michael Keaton from the Tim Burton films. I think he was good as both as Batman and Bruce Wayne, where some of the others, I feel like maybe they were a little bit better in the costume or a little bit better out of the costume in some cases. I think Val Kilmer was an okay Bruce Wayne, maybe not the best Batman, maybe not the best Bruce Wayne either, but I thought he did, okay for what the film was. But yeah, I think Christian Bale was great.
I want to see them do the Batman American Psycho crossover with Christian Bale.
Yeah, that'd be good. with yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yep. You could have him on there giving his card.
Yeah,
They can
yeah.
compare and see what. Love that. Love that. So in your film, because you got Batman, you got the Joker.
Right.
You know, I'm a big Harley Quinn fan. I really love the latest. I think the version of Suicide Squad that came out in 2021 was, for me, the best they've done with a Harley Quinn movie, and I enjoyed that. It was nice and dark, which I liked, and I wonder, are we going to see Harley Quinn in this?
I don't know. I don't really plan on having her in it at the
Oh,
moment.
come on. Look, you can get Lydia Manson. She could play Harley Quinn, she could play Catwoman, and she could play Poison Ivy. And she's beautiful. So there you go. It helps your film overall.
Yeah, you never know. You never know with Lydia. Who knows? Maybe she would pop up somewhere. I can't promise it would be Harley. I don't want to squeeze any of the characters into the film just to do it. It has to make sense, storyline wise. And I don't know if Harley would be right for this story, but you never know.
I've got like 4 or 5 Harley Quinn figurines here. I think 3 or 4 of them are in the likeness of Margot Robbie, who did really well playing that character, Yep. But I think it was the best in the Suicide Squad that came out last year. So liked what they did with that.
Yeah.
So have you written the screenplay for this yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did that process take?
A long time.
Were you following along that book that you have there? Is that what you were going by?
Yeah, I use it as a reference, and I always have it right next to me, and that's why I was able to pick it up so quick. It's always right here. Back and look at it, I'm like, am I sure, is this right? Because I want to stay true to the original story, but there is some differences. It's going from whatever 20-page story or whatever to over an hour and a half long film isn't always that easy. You have to make some adjustments for it. So, but yeah, it was a long process, and I think I'm hoping that people are happy with what I came up with. Now, of course, a lot of it still depends on the budget that I'm able to, the funds that I'm able to raise for the film. How much of the different things that I came up with will I actually be able to get for the final movie? I might have to tweak some things here and there, or I have had a few people ask me about Harley, so it's like, do I squeeze a cameo in somewhere?
Make one more by me.
Yeah.
I like Harley Quinn. I do like Harley Quinn.
Never know.
There you go. No, but anyway, so you're going to crowdfund this.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility, because I noticed like with Never Hike Alone, which was a terrific fan film, and they had Tom Matthews from Friday the 13th Part 6 come into that, and you going to be able to secure somebody? Obviously you're not going to get a Michael Keaton or a Christian Bale, but maybe somebody is reachable, like you got any ideas for that?
I don't. I'm open to suggestions if anyone out there has any ideas. The thing about that is I don't know, there's almost like a moral dilemma for me. If I would want to spend the kind of money that it would take to get some of those people involved with the film, when I could take that money and just put it into the production and then try to just focus on getting people.
Spend it on Lydia. She'll love me for saying that.
I know.
Well,
it's a fan film, so I have to be careful with what I say about I can't profit from the film, so I can't, I have to be careful as far as that goes. But if I was able to pay somebody, I would pay Lydia before I go.
Well, Never Hike Alone turned out really well for Friday the 13th, and It's Me, Billy by Dave McRae and Bruce Dale for Black Christmas. The best thing to happen to Black Christmas since the original turned out really well. So I really hope that you're able to make this into something great,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything in mind in terms, like, sometimes you can make your film just using really great locations with personality, using lighting, especially something moody like the atmosphere in a Gothic city. Do you have anything like that in mind for your filming locations?
Yeah, definitely. Here in Rochester, we actually have a lot of cool gothy looking cathedrals and different buildings downtown. And
Hmm.
so thinking about shooting down there and just sort of making a version of Gotham out of downtown. Yeah.
There you go. And what about for the costumes and for the makeup? You don't want it to look like the 1966 Batman movie. You want this to be something where people, even though the budget's going to be lower, I still think, especially with no Never Hike Alone, It's Me, Billy, there's some
Right.
remarkable stuff with these fan films. Um, do,
Yeah.
what are you doing in terms of costumes and makeup and equipment? Do you have equipment purchased, or have you got that far ahead yet?
Well, no, for this, I would definitely need rely on the campaign to get the funds that we need to secure all the equipment and the crew that I would need to actually bring this to life in a way that doesn't look like a flat sort of fan film. A lot of
Hmm.
the stuff doesn't look that great, and like you said, some of those other films are really set high standard. Uh, no, we definitely need to raise some money so that we can get the equipment that I'd like to have. I would like to use multiple cameras, not just one camera. And I definitely need a crew behind me to do this. I can't do it alone. As far as the costumes, I've played with the makeup a lot. I've gone through a lot of different makeup for
Hmm.
the joke, different foundation, different eyeshadow, different lipstick, all different shades, different brands, Jeffree Star, and so on and so forth. I've used baby powder. I've used all kinds of stuff. Lip gloss all over my
This
entire
sounds
face.
this sounds like a cosmetic ad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope Jeffree
I
Star
use
sees this.
lipstick, eyeshadow. I'm like, okay, what's happening here?
Right? Yeah, anything about makeup, so it's an experience. You'd be surprised. It seems like the Joker's makeup would be really easy to apply, but I found that when you do it, sometimes the white is a little bit too white. You can get it so that it almost looks pasty.
Hmm.
Sometimes too shiny. The eyes, when you put the eyeshadow on, it has like a Jack Skellington effect. So it's like
Hmm.
really eyes, where if you kind of take it and then smudge it more, it looks a little bit more natural, like it's kind of been there for a couple days or something. So there's like a lot of little tricks that I've learned with the makeup. The smile, so I do the red, but I do like a specific shade of red, and then I actually take black and I go over the red with the black, and I put slits in the mouth, and I make it like a little bit darker. And yeah, I've played around with the makeup a lot. As far as the Batman costume, there are a lot of cool looking costumes out there. You can get really high end cosplay costumes that look really cool, but they still look like cosplay costumes. They don't look like something that was meant to be on film. And for this, I want to bring Batman to life. I want people to
Hmm.
see and to feel like, oh, this could actually exist. This could possibly be real. And so what I plan on doing is getting different pieces and then possibly working with a couple different mold and mask makers that I've met to
Mhm.
maybe get some of the armor in place. But there are different cowls that I've looked at, and yeah, I have my eyes on some different pieces that I think I'm gonna mix and match and make my own tailored kind of costume for the actor once we have somebody casted for it.
You need to save some of that budget for Free Willy, for the whale cameo.
For the missiles. Yeah, we'll get
You
them.
know, you So when are you guys going to be planning to shoot? Do you have any dates in mind? I know you're going to launch the campaign in March. When do you
Right.
want to get cast and crew and the production people together for this?
Well, as soon as we start funding, I have some locations in mind, but I don't have any of them set. So I have to actually get those locations secured. Um, but it might cost a few dollars, so that's where the funding is going to come into place too. And so I might have to work around their schedules as well. If I want to shoot indoors somewhere, I might not be able to, and until there's a date available. And
Mm-hmm.
so I play it by ear a little bit. I'm also taking my time with the entire process, because if I rush in with anything, with the casting or any of this stuff, it could go, it could veer off easily. And so, I have a pretty clear vision, and I just want to make sure it's all done right. I just want, something that I can be proud of, and that, is entertaining for everybody.
Okay. Well, you also have some other projects that I want to touch upon too. Some of these I recognize, but the one I'm most interested in is Demons at Dawn, which is an interesting premise about the occult and human sacrifice, and really grisly sounding horror film. Talk about this.
So this one, it's by Chris Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
He's a director. He's made some other stuff that looks really amazing, high quality work. But Demons at Dawn is a new one that I just got attached to a couple days ago, and I honest to God don't know anything about it. I really don't know anything more about it than you do. I didn't even know I promise I didn't even know I was attached to it. I think he told me that I was getting a credit, but I thought he was giving me a credit for his previous film, which was a Werewolf Cabal. and then I thought and then I thought he was doing something in the future, and that I'd be attached to that as well. But I didn't know, I don't know if it was miscommunication or what. I don't know anything about anything more about it than you do. But I believe in Chris. He's a really nice guy. He's a talented guy. So I'm rolling with it.
Well, I am familiar with Sawyer Sawyer Massacre. Just say I gotta get this title right.
Sure.
So
Sawyer Massacre.
yeah, the Sawyer Massacre, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan film. I've had Steve Merlo, the director, on, and of course, we're in
Yep.
this.
Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I've had Terry McMinn, the meat hook victim, on the show a couple times. I've had Alan DeZanger, who's one of the sledgehammer victims on here, and I've had John Dugan, grandpa, on here, and Ed Gwynn, the truck driver. So I've really covered Texas Chainsaw quite well. When was the first time you recall seeing this film?
I don't remember the first time I saw the original film, but I believe the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that I ever saw was the remake, the 2003 remake. That was a Michael Bay film. Um, yeah,
Michael Bay. Okay.
yeah.
He only
uh,
made one of the worst movies I ever seen, which was Pearl Harbor. I hate that film. Although if I watch the 3D version, you got Alexandria Daddario, and I could sit through that just to see her.
yeah. Yep.
But I don't know when I first saw it. I think it was a rental years ago. I would have been 2 years old when that thing came out in 1974, although that is not when I've seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I know you've sold me in passing that this was one of the horror films your parents wouldn't let you watch.
Yeah, no, they didn't want me to see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I was able to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and Halloween and all the other horror films, but for some reason they kind of steered me away from seeing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I
So
find that funny considering that Elm Street's a lot more graphic. I mean, this has got very little blood. I get the Ed Gein true story element of it, which probably puts some people off.
yeah, definitely. I think there was maybe just because of the implication that there was more brutality or gore in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre than was actually shown. And A Nightmare on Elm Street shows all kinds of stuff. People being ripped open and
Hmm.
cut open.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And
But I know
Halloween.
that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that was, I believe, if memory serves me, I saw a documentary that stated that was banned in like 25 states around the world.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that too. And don't quote me on this because I'm not sure, but I think that it's still banned in some countries. They won't allow people
Wouldn't
to.
wouldn't surprise me.
Right, right. So imagine that.
Well, I've interviewed Steve Merlo, who was the director of the Sawyer family, excuse me, the Sawyer Massacre, and talk about your involvement in this.
So I'm attached as an associate producer on it. Steve's a great guy. Everyone loves him.
Hmm.
Uh, he really has a good eye for this Texas Chainsaw thing. He's actually played with the franchise before a bit. He made a fan film, I think like 10 years ago, based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So he had some time to and play with the characters and get the right feel, the right vibe. And so I actually auditioned for a role in the film, and I lost it to a super talented upcoming actor. His name is Briley Michael Bell.
Hmm.
I hope I'm saying that right. Briley.
Well, look, I screwed up your last name, so you're allowed to screw up one.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll probably one. Yeah, uh, actor, but at this point, I was offered to I was offered a different role, a speaking role on the film. I don't know if I'll end up doing that or not. So as of right now, my role is just associate producer. I try to just help spread the word as much as possible, share the campaign, share my enthusiasm for it, and yeah, I've met a lot of great people. Just because I'm attached to it.
Hmm.
Some of the extras are really great. There's Cody Willis, Sarah Church,
Hmm.
people attached to it. Yeah, and that's it.
And of course, Steve, like myself, a fellow Canuck, but you guys are going to be filming this in Texas, which is actually very appropriate. If this pandemic would go away, so you guys can get this thing shot. How much of it is shot now, or is any of it shot?
None of it is shot. As far as he has a trailer, but it's made of footage and different things that he's been able to piece together over time. So
Hmm.
much of that would actually make it into the final film. Like you said, Steve's in Texas, or I'm sorry, Steve's in Canada. I'm in New York. The rest of the casting crew are in Texas, or the main cast is in Texas. So Steve's actually, I would imagine flying. Maybe he's driving, but I guess he's flying down to Texas in March, and they'll start the filming process on it. And he really wanted to get that authentic Texas vibe, so he's very adamant about filming in Texas. which is perfect for me because that's what I would like to see.
Well, what I found interesting is I knew John Dugan was doing a voiceover in this film. I did interview him, but what I didn't know was Ed Neal. They managed to wrangle him into this. Now, that must have been a fairly recent development.
Yeah, Ed Neal was the hitchhiker in the original
Yeah,
Massacre.
don't pick him up. Don't pick him up.
No, if
Make him
it wa-
walk.
yeah, that was a more recent. We made that announcement a couple of weeks ago. Ed Neal is playing a character named Rex in the film, but that's all given away. We're not letting him know if he, is he one of the Sawyers, or is he who knows? Is he a good guy? We're not sure.
So are you going to get to work on screen with any of these individuals?
I was invited to go to Texas. I'm still on the fence about it. That would be in March. I really would like to focus on the Batman as well. So I'm kind of on the fence with that. The role that I would be playing if I do go down wouldn't be a huge thing. It would be more of like a cameo kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't know how important I am to the actual filming, the storyline, but it might be a fun experience. You never know.
Oh yeah. No, I'm very familiar with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Steve Merlo seems to have a good head on his shoulder, and
Yeah.
putting this together, and
Yeah.
looking over the film, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Steve's a
yep.
super bright, super talented. He has a really good eye for detail when it comes to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's done a good job of recreating the vibe of the original film, but also kind of putting his own spin on it. And I think it's really impressive.
Now you're also got your name on Halloween Evil Lives, which there was a time I was going to do a voiceover on it for like a phone call or something, and I've kind of pulled away from the film. I've heard various things about that. I know Jimmy Presley's involved with it. Great guy. I don't really know Michael McGlynn very well, but I do know that I have heard that if this film gets off the ground, he's going to be one of the talents that gives it legs.
Right.
Michael Tagagnan, excuse me. I admire his passion,
Sure.
and he's doing this to honor the death of a friend.
Jared.
But yeah, but Jarrett, or not Jarrett, Michael, his inexperience is really coming through here, and I think it's turning cast and crew off.
Sure.
And again, I got nothing against him. I think he's a nice guy, but I think there's been some dissension there. Can you share anything on that?
Yeah, so I was attached, or I'm still attached to it as an executive producer. I was also composing for the film, remade the Halloween theme song from scratch, and I made a couple other tracks for him. He has a pretty cool cast. I'm excited for them because it's the only thing that some of them have done. It's the first project that some of these actors have ever been a part of. So for them to just be a part of something, I think they're really excited. And I'm happy for them if they can get some real footage, footage for their acting reel out of it, or whatever the case, or promotional stuff. But yeah, there were some allegations that were brought up, and once I heard that, I distanced myself from the project right away, and I haven't promoted it at all. So yeah.
I've heard similar stories. Yeah, I like Michael Tagagnan. Excuse me, I'm messing up that name. I enjoy his passion.
Yeah.
But there are times where it's like I can't communicate with the guy. We got in a conversation one night on Facebook about wrestling.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, if wrestling to him is the Attitude Era, I'm done the conversation. I'm done the conversation. I think wrestling today is the shits, with the exception of maybe AJ Styles and Charlotte Flair.
Sure.
I like old school wrestling. I love the 70s with Bruno Sammartino. I think was one of the great champions. I love the 80s wrestling. Uh, guys like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Roddy Piper, Jake the Snake Roberts,
Yeah.
Randy Macho Man Savage, Terry Funk, who was the best hardcore wrestler out there. Those were times when I could really enjoy wrestling. I like a little bit of the 90s, but Michael and I had a conversation one night, and I just wanted to just be done with that, because he obviously knows nothing about wrestling, and he knows nothing about wrestling history. And yeah, I'm sorry, I hate to have to break it to him, but Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is a better wrestler than Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock. I'm sorry, but it's just true.
Yeah, I'd agree. I agree
Yep.
with you.
Yep. um when you watch Steve Austin against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13, the reason Austin looked as good as he did was he was wrestling Bret Hart, and
Yeah.
Bret Hart was known to make people look really good.
Yeah.
And as a result, Steve Austin looked really good. But Bret Hart can also wrestle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Brett, technical wrestler, was amazing. Maybe not the best promo, but really good in rings skill and talent that not many other people can live up to.
I hate what wrestling's become. I was not a fan of the Click. If Vince had been smart, he would have fired Shawn Michaels and kept Bret Hart. I didn't care for Shawn Michaels desecrating the Canadian flag at the Montreal screw job, rubbing it on himself and spitting on it, and
Sure.
I didn't care for that. Unnecessary.
Right.
Um, also not particularly caring how Triple H managed to move ahead in the company, and I don't think the hard work was necessarily in the gym, if you know what I mean. That's just my vantage point. It's a vantage point that numerous others have shared.
Right. Right.
But yep.
I
But
understand.
I didn't care for them burying Sting at one of the WrestleManias because of WCW. Jim Cornette put it best. They could have they should have had Sting go over Triple H. They would have had a year of selling merchandise and disc on Sting. And then they could have given the following WrestleMania the match people wanted to see, Sting versus Undertaker. But
Right. Right.
because there was egos involved,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, how
Yeah. I didn't.
stupid.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that one either. They, like you said, they did the whole WWE versus WCW angle, and of course, Vince had to have WWE go over on WCW. So they gave, both had elaborate entrances, but it just seemed like they spent so much more money on Triple H's entrance than a lot of the other performers that year. And of course, they had NWO come out, so that was Team WCW, and then they kind of had DX come out, that was Team WWE, and of course they had to have Triple H, who was clearly the heel in the match, go over on the one of the the big baby faces from WCW, and so it was just silly. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, it was dumb booking, and it's one of those things that's led to me just hating the product today.
Right.
But nonetheless, yeah, that is one thing that Michael DeGagnon and I just can't talk about. And I can appreciate his passion, but his logic, no, not when it comes to that. And in terms of Halloween Evil Lives, I don't know how much you heard about this, but he made a comment to me about possibility of Paul Rudd in this. And Paul Rudd just got done doing Ghostbusters Afterlife. He's not going to do a Halloween fan film. It's not impossible to get somebody like Sandy Johnson, who is Judith Myers. She's reachable.
Right.
But and Sandy's awesome. But Paul Rudd ain't doing your fan film. Have you heard any stories about that too?
I haven't heard Paul Rudd, but I've heard some other names. Chad Michael Murray. So,
No, not going to happen.
and I've heard I believe it was one of the Green Bay Packers. You know, I've heard some.
Yeah. Well, might have a better chance of getting Chad Michael Murray than Paul Rudd, but even still, I don't like his chances of getting Chad Michael Murray either. But
My opinion was Danielle Harris. That's who I would have liked to have seen in the film.
yeah, I don't know if he's gonna get Danielle Harris. He wants to buckle down, and he wants to. I don't know. Maybe Michael McGlynn might need to spearhead this project if it's going to get off the ground. I'm not trying to shit on Michael Tagagnan. You know, he's got great passion for this, but his inexperience, not just in making movies, but in marketing them,
Yeah,
could be a sinker for this. You know.
yeah. I hope for the best, just for the cast and crew that are kind of caught in the crossfire between all the back behind the scenes drama that I don't think they really want anything to do with. They just want what they were promised, and a lot of these people have spent a lot of time trying to get into the characters, and they're looking forward to being a part of this film. And unfortunately, some things have happened that weren't very positive.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad for them. Starring Tiffany Saggio. She's talented upcoming actress. I think the world of her. Brandon Clark's in the film. He's an upcoming actor. I think the world of him. I believe Jimmy Presley is still attached to it. I think he's
I
great.
like Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Michael McGlynn, I haven't really talked to as much, but I think he seems like a cool guy. I know he knows what he's doing because he's worked on a bunch of films. I mean, he has to have a better idea of what's going on than some of the other people. But yeah, there's some talented people involved, and a lot of them are just upcoming actors that unfortunately just got mixed up in this project. And now I think they just want to see it through because they're so emotionally invested in the film that they it's hard for them to just walk away. And by the way, I've told Mike, and this is public now, but I've told Mike in private chats, like if anyone wants to walk away from the film, I would happily give them a credit on one of my film, an equal credit. So if they're a producer on his film and they walk away because of whatever allegations or rumors that they heard, I would gladly give them the exact same credit on my film, and without charging them, completely free. And just because I feel the pain there of spending money on a perk, and then just to find out that it's this person's accused of doing something that you don't want your name attached to.
So you're telling me that if Paul Rudd walks away from Halloween Evil Lives, he can come onto your Batman project for free?
He can come on for free. He could even be Harley Quinn. Then I'll write Harley Quinn, and maybe he's a good actor. He could probably.
Oh, I want Margot Robbie to play Harley Quinn.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if she might be attached to Halloween Evil Lives too. I
don't know nowadays, but no, best of luck to Michael, but listen, right. My advice to him is listen to people that's got more experience and stop arguing with people that know more about wrestling than he does.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's no different from what I'm doing with Batman. I can't do it alone. I definitely need help with making the project. It's not.
Yeah, if you have a costume that's got bat nipples on it, I'm not going to watch it.
I know. Bat nipples will be in the film.
But a Free Willy cameo, I might dig that.
I'm thinking Free Willy portrayed by Paul Rudd. How do you feel?
There you go. Might be able to, or maybe you can get Jason Momoa. You can do like the Aquaman thing, but in a whale costume.
There you go. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's something.
What'd you think of Lydia Manson's Doubtfire Face challenge? Her with that cream on her eyelids. I thought that was just great.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it looked kind of, a little silly, but I liked it. Yeah, I would love to give that a shot at some point. I'm down for the Doubtfire challenge. I was thinking maybe we could get a bunch of us together on a future episode, and we could all do the Doubtfire challenge together. Maybe we could get Steve Merlo involved,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some of those people that were kind of let down by other film.
You mean
Maybe
Tiffany?
maybe Agio or
Mm-hmm.
Brand, one of those upcoming actors, just to give them a little more exposure and help them out a little bit. Maybe we can all get together and put our faces in pie or something.
Well, it's for suicide and depression awareness. I've been struggling to get people in the industry and involved with this.
Okay.
Lisa Langlois from class of 1984 did it. So did Nancy McLaughlin from Jason Lives, right in front of props from the movie. Sandy Johnson, Judith Myers herself, did it, and her husband was dressed up as Michael Myers when he put the pie in her face. She
Cool.
nominated Felissa Rose, and I showed the video to Felissa Rose at Frightmare in the Falls. Felissa, of course, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and Felissa's down for it.
Cool.
And yeah, and at the advice of Scotty McCoy, I threw it out to some wrestlers on Cameo, and Tori Wilson totally got it, and she
Cool.
did it. Tori
Awesome.
was awesome doing it,
Nice.
spoke about it, and James Ellsworth did it, and so did Teal Piper, Roddy's daughter. She did it. She, huh?
Sorry, I was gonna say James Ellsworth was announced for Sam Hain, another indie horror film coming out by Les Nolan. So just throwing that out there. Shout out to Les Nolan and Sam
I
Hain.
I like James Ellsworth. He
Yeah.
did the Doubtfire challenge, and he was somebody Scotty suggested I throw it out to on Cameo, and he did it. And then I had him on the show, and I was quite happy. And of course, Teal Piper, Roddy's daughter, did it on my birthday, which was
Awesome.
Ellen Udy from My Bloody Valentine did it, and that was pretty cool. So I've had some takers, but I know there's been some film projects I have been involved with where I wish it was taken more seriously, considering the contributions I've made to those projects. And um, it was a letdown by some of those individuals that declined me on it.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yep. It's like they didn't appreciate any of the financial contributions I did to the film. This is for suicide and depression, it's
Right.
but whatever, um, it's lesson learned from me. But you got a web page or anything social media that where people can reach you or to hear more about your Batman fan film?
Sure. Yeah, we have a brand new Facebook group. It's Batman: The Killing Joke fan film. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to share the link on some of your social
Go
media.
ahead. You got my
Great.
full permission. Go for it.
Thank you. And maybe some of the people that see this video will be able to find that link and maybe follow us on Facebook. I'm also starting just a simple YouTube podcast called The Laughing Man. So it's the Laughing Man podcast, and I'll be talking about keeping everyone up to date with the campaign and where I am with it and so forth, and might have some fun guests on at some point. And you're welcome to join at some point.
I would be honored.
Thank you
I
so
would
much.
be honored. You know what? Good luck with doing a YouTube podcast, It's I think you're number 537 interviews I've done since 2015, and I've had some high profile guests, not Paul Rudd, but I've had some bigger name guests, and I've had some lesser known guests, and I like to hear the stories. I just heard from, I went after somebody from the movie Orange County for its
Okay.
20th anniversary. And the person responded and said that they weren't that individual.
Okay.
But he did go on to say this is what he does. He's a musician. He writes poetry and writes books and stuff like that. And he said to me, he said, your listeners might not be interested. And I'm sitting there thinking, I see a story here.
Sure.
So I pitched it to him, and he's going to come on, and I
Cool.
think he's quite excited about it. Nobody should ever feel that they're not worthy enough. Like, who am I? I feel honored with the fact that you would seek me out based on Lydia. So
No, no.
I'm open for that.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to, I would love to have you on at some point and maybe
There you go.
burst the tables a little bit, and I get to ask you some cool questions.
Go for it. Yep, we can do that. We can do that. And if you haven't been on Scotty McCoy's podcast, Slasher Scotty, seek him out. Good guy. Tell him I sent you, and I'm pretty sure that he'd love to have you on.
Awesome. I will. I definitely will. Thank
Yep,
you so much.
he's in Pennsylvania, so I think he's right in somewhere handy to your neck of the woods or somewhere. So,
Not too far.
yep, yep. But I appreciate you coming on here today, and I know we had some technical problems trying to get this up and going, but I think we got her this time. So I appreciate having you on here, and honoring me with your presence. And yes, the Batman killing joke. Yes, we look forward to seeing the updates on that. Best of luck to you on this project.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful.
Yes, and let us know when Paul Rudd's going to be in it.
He's already booked.
Yeah.
There's an exclusive last minute. We got an exclusive for you right at the end.
I'd be even super interested if you have Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
But if you couldn't have Margot, and if there was a Harley Quinn, then who would your second choice be?
Emma Stone.
Don't. I'll try. Emma Stone as Harley might be pretty interesting.
I love Emma Stone. Let me tell you, I had a crush on Emma Stone since Superbad. That was her first movie. Yeah. That's a lot. That was 2007, so that's a long time crush. Emma's interesting every time I see her. She just makes even her worst movies. She makes it interesting when she's on screen. So yeah. Yeah, like her. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on here today and gracing me with your presence. And when this is ready, you can put it up on your social media anywhere, share it wherever you want.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure and honor. You have yourself a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.